Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with George and Kev, who was furiously running around backstage there. I was wondering whether he was going to get sat in his position ready for the show, but he's made it. He's made it. We're here to do the full match reaction to Aston Villa 1, Manchester United 2. I did do my instant match reaction, which has got, I think, over 1,000 views already. So thank you for the support on that one. But get involved in the chat here. It'd be good to get George and Kev's views on the game. Good to get your views on the game. I'm not as, you know what? Ironically, I'm not as negative about this performance in this game as I was last week. So see, I don't know what that says about me. But guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, please do smash the subscribe button as well. Help us on the road to 4,000 subscribers. But yeah, let's get into it. Kev, how you doing, mate? First of all, and you were at the game today. How are you feeling after that game?
I'm feeling all right, Rich. To be honest with you, mate, I'm all right. I had some more pressing concerns, i.e., getting my kids back and getting them in bed, and literally that's why I'm running around furiously polishing shoes backstage and sorting out washing because, school tomorrow. And I'm like, my point is like it hasn't. I mean, I'm fairly pragmatic at the best times and realistic about stuff, but I felt like that was largely a performance we've seen time and time again under Villa with Unai Emery in charge. I felt we had the most of the game. We had the best chances. I think we won the ball back a lot. I think we caused them a hell of a lot of problems. I think largely we're pretty defensively sound with what you could argue is not our first choice back four, really. If everyone was fit, I think you'd have Mings, Konza, Torres, and Dean. You're starting probably, arguably. So I felt largely the performances we had against Burnley, the performances we had against Everton, Chelsea, all those different games, Newcastle, that was a million miles away from those performances. So I am, despite disappointed in the result and despite being a tad concerned about how a couple of the screws on one of the wheels have come off, a couple of the nuts have come off on one of the wheels. I'm okay, mate, to be fair.
Yeah. It is frustrating. George, before I come to you, mate, I'll just go through some comments in the chat. Rich said 3 defeats, not good enough. Carlos and Longley, not Premier League players. That was before we came on as well. The Villa Park podcast with a comment as well. Welcome to the show, everyone. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and help us on the road to 4K. So that is the most important comment of all. Duncan said, evening all, dreadful week, season in real danger of unraveling. And Rachel's in the house. Good evening to you. I don't think it's quite that bad, but I suppose it depends on what your expectations were originally. Charlie's positive as well. Don't think it's all doom and gloom. Deontay, hope everyone is doing well despite today's disappointing result. Rub's in the house as well. Rachel agrees with you, Kev. We did play well and with a better side. We will get into that a little bit as well. And Ugent said, Rich, you're getting used to losing, hence taking things in stride. We will bounce back though. And Martin wants me to get into sync with you guys with the black kazoo tops. I don't actually have one. I'm not. As I said before, I'm not one for Villa kits and training.
You're not a fanboy, are you? You're not a fanboy.
Nah. Anyway, George, our voice of reason, our usual man of rationality, but you weren't happy in the WhatsApp group today, mate. So give us your thoughts on today's result.
Yeah, evening, everyone. Yeah, I've had a bit of a meltdown today. I've really had the ump, mate. Literally, what's the game finished 3 hours ago? I'm still in my cabin. I'm about 3-4 pints in now, and I've just got the ump. And it's not about the performance. The performance was good. Everything Kev just said. We were better today. It was encouraging, wasn't it? Our tempo was good, passing was good, movement was good. The only thing I could criticise today was not so much our finishing. It was just we're just ponderous and pissing about all the time, trying to create the perfect, I don't know if it's the perfect goal or the perfect scenario, but just put your foot through it. There was numerous times today where we just kept messing around, taking an extra touch or trying to find a pass that wasn't quite on when there was better options. Look at United's winner. Sometimes just stick your head on it. Just put your foot through it, and there's goals there to be had. But
Is that French, George? Stick your head
yeah,
up.
I managed to restrain it, mate, in the end. So I didn't actually come out of it, did I?
Yeah.
I nearly did. But I just got the hump because it's just for one, it's Man United again, isn't it? I'm sick, so sick of losing to Man United. It's like a life sentence, isn't it? And you think you're getting let out, don't you, after 25 years? But it just keeps going on and on and on. It doesn't matter whether it's good Man United, average Man United, shit Man United. I don't know where I quite rate this team, but I think we could have had them today, and still we've let them off again. And they've come to Villa Park and had another win. They've had another 6 points off us. You know, 3 weeks ago we must have been 15 points clear of Man United. Now it's 5. You know, in a couple of weeks they'll be above us. We all know how it goes.
Yeah, and that was always the worry for me. With look, people were saying I was being negative last week with regards to, me and Sam on our negative-a-thon, but it was just that, I could see, I saw the performances for the last 7, 8, 9 games before the Sheffield United game, and I knew that times would come where we would play well and get beat, because the performances catch up with you. Like you will have situations like that, and my worry is like George says there, Kev, that we've gone through it from a situation of, yes, we've been poor, we've picked up 1 or 2 results, but generally performance has been poor. Now we get into a situation where teams are catching up with us. And we've gone on to play well today, and we've got beat. This is the problem, isn't it? These performances catch up with you, and then all of a sudden it just becomes like a snowball effect, and you can't get yourself out of it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that bleak, mate, to be honest. I mean,
I'm not saying it's bleak, but like, don't get me wrong, we played really well today, and as I said to you before we came in, we play like that in games. We'll win more than we lose. It's just that I could see that coming. I could see the 8 or 9 games where we've played poorly. Yes, we've picked up 1 or 2 points, but I could see it. I could see this happening, and I can see those other teams, as George has said to us numerous times, the mentality of a Tottenham, the mentality of a Man United. We've not been in those positions before. They know they've got players who can step up in big moments. Have we got players that can step up in big moments? We don't know that yet.
well, I think we have. And I think this team have proven themselves over the last nearly 18 months now. So I'm going to be maybe the new George, the new voice of reason. If you look across the season, right, ideally, right, you'd end really well, right? Ideally, and then we always talk about Villa, that Villa team of probably 20, 25 years ago, that I think across the calendar year, we might have been first, but because we had a really good end to one season, a really good start to the next, but calendar year football doesn't win you anything, does it? As we know from last year, because we didn't get Champions League for finishing second on December the 31st, even though we were obviously across that year. But across any season, I'm going to put this in my tweet I put out today, basically, but you're not going to win every game, and I know everyone knows that, and I know it's a bit of a cliche, but think about it, right? There's some good teams in this league. So if we think we're going to go toe-to-toe with all these teams and win all of the games against them, or the most of the games against them, when this is new territory for Aston Villa, 7th last year, came out of nowhere at the start of last season, for us to be vying for top spot around Christmas and still in that hunt for top 4 seriously, is still staggering. That doesn't mean if Sam's listening, that means my ambition is dipping, and it means I'm not thinking we can do better. But I look at what this team has done, right, over the last, just to come back from that Gerrard start of the season, when they must have been on the floor thinking that relegation was happening, to under Unai's stewardship, take the most unbelievable the next few months, in their stride and get 7th spot in the league. The way we started this season, to come back from that Newcastle defeat, to come back from that Liverpool defeat, and to get to this point now where, sure, we've had some tough results. Chelsea have massively improved. And I know they had a couple of dodgy results back-to-back, but really, they've been a lot better in the last couple of months. Man United have massively improved. They've got players back. And actually, on their day, they can be a match for anybody. And amongst that, okay, we lost at home to Newcastle, but Newcastle have got some really fine players as well, and they've been in a better form lately as well. I don't think, if you look at where we're at right now, Well, let me
But
just finish.
that's the problem though, Kev. You've got to, if you want to mix it with the big boys, you've got to beat them. You
Yeah, but we
can't.
mixed. But
I
we
know we
mixed.
beat Arsenal. I know we beat Man City, but you've got to beat like Man United at home, Newcastle at home. You have to beat them. You can't. We can't keep because you will get results where you play well and lose, and you will get the odd result where you get beat off a Nottingham Forest, or you get beat off or you drop points against a Sheffield United, or drop points against an Everton. You will get that, and that's the nagging thing for me. That's the mindset thing, and that's
Yeah,
like I
but
know we
Rich.
criticise him as a manager, like he was terrible. He was terrible in the end, Gerard, but that's the mentality that he was talking about with some of our players. That soft centre, that lack of ruthlessness, and that's what's gonna kill us. Sorry.
But the first few months of the season, did we not beat Tottenham away? Did we not beat Chelsea away? Did we not beat Brighton at home? Did we not Did we not get some results? Did we not win 15 home games in a row consecutively? And how many opportunities were there then for have a soft-centered, let the side down, capitulate? Did we not come back in injury time against Palace and win 3-1 pretty much right 87th minute? Did we not? Have we not done loads of things this season that are unlike Aston Villa and beat teams and beat Man City finally? And go, when was the last time we went back to back with arguably the best two teams in the league and won 2 consecutive victories?
True.
Look, if we get a month down the line and we've lost to Fulham and we lose to Luton and we lose to Forest, then I'm with you. It's gutless. They've let themselves down. It's cowardly. But lately, look, in that purple patch, we still got a last minute. We got a last minute equaliser against Sheffield United when a lot of teams on a day like that would have lost that game. We beat Burnley when we didn't play particularly well. We went to Everton, who have been, again, production aside, they've taken some scalps this season, had some good results, and got a decent draw. I mean, I just don't think, I think anybody who's even a decent team can lose to Newcastle, Man United, and Chelsea, and not derail their season. And I'd say one final thing, Spurs' character, Spurs' mentality, you kind of touched on it earlier. We haven't seen it yet. They had a decent start under Ange, and didn't they lose 5 in a row under Ange?
I think it was four
It
from
was
5.
No, it was 5.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't lost 5 in a row. So,
I checked I
early
checked their
days.
fixtures. I don't think it was 5. I think it was 4 out of 5. I'm pretty sure.
Still
I'll
fourth
check.
in the league.
Yeah.
It's the it feels like it's the business end now, doesn't it? And
Yes.
like I put on the group chat this afternoon, everyone is putting their foot to the throttle now. I mean, Arsenal absolutely demolishing West Ham yesterday. Liverpool, I know they lost to Arsenal last week, but generally on fire. City, doing what City do every back end of the season. Spurs getting a last minute winner yesterday. And all of a sudden now, a few weeks, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, it didn't seem like we felt like we may have had a couple of bad results and got away with it. But you ain't getting away with anything now. You don't win, they all win, and we're getting further and further behind. I mean, all right, we were never going to win the league and all that, but we were fighting with them. We were up level with City and Liverpool 3 weeks ago. What are they now? 6 points ahead of us, all of them? That's how quick it can change. And this is my fear that we just get left behind, mate. 2 bad runs, and we're gone. It doesn't matter. We can all say, oh, what a great season. We ain't catching them up.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I'm not negative about that.
No,
I just agree that that's what's going to happen, and it is like, I know Emery's saying it was our second best performance that he's been there, and it was a really good performance, and that's the kind of the frustrating thing about it. And we will get into some of the player performances and stuff, but in general, I just think, yeah, I'm more positive about this performance, and I think, like I say, if we can replicate that in the next 3 or 4 games, as you say, Kev, I think we do come out with good results, and we're looking at this as, yes, this is a time to be, really positive. However, I kind of worry that this kind of run isn't going to end, or we're going to lose against these teams that we come up against that we are in the business end with. I think, we pick up a result against the Nottingham Forest at home in a couple of weeks, but then we lose against Tottenham when it comes to playing them at home, and that's the big game that matters. And that's what frustrates me. That's what worries me about where we are at the moment. Few comments coming in. Actually, loads of comments coming in. Duncan says, bottom line, if we don't get Champions League this season, we'll lose 2 or 3 top players in the summer. Rachel said we will lose these players whether we get Champions League or not. FFP will dictate that we will. We'll sell a couple, absolutely. Charlie S says he hates Bruno. Dunk can't stand Man U. I think he's with us all there. David said it's dangerous times. We play badly and we lose. We play well and we lose. Ugent, we're going to get onto that in a minute about your comment. I'm going to star that because that was my kind of crux of everything that I want to talk about. Rachel also said we know what we have to do now. We peaked at the wrong time. Everyone else is peaking and gaining momentum.
That's exactly
now.
What I was trying to say there, Rach.
Yeah, Martin said, I'm looking forward and confident after a great performance by us. We had all our bad luck tonight, hence our chances of going in for next few games. Dunk says Tottenham blagging a late win doesn't help. David also said, Rich, I love the passion. I agree that Emery balls this one up. Yeah, we'll talk on that. Sharik, I can't bear that line of 5 years ago we were in the Championship. I absolutely 100% agree with you. Small club mentality. We won't get another chance as good as this to get Champions League. Chelsea, United, and Spurs will be above. That's my point as well. Like, I don't want to hear any, oh well, we look where we were last season, or we were in the Championship, this and that. You've got to take your chance while it's there. I was saying the same when Dean Smith was in charge in lockdown and we were up there, and we were kind of saying, oh, look where we were 18 months ago. And it's just like, no, because you have to spend 100, 150 million now to stand still. So Chelsea are going to be better next season. Tottenham are going to be better next season. Newcastle are going to be better next season.
But Rich, it's not a binary choice, is it? My thought on this whole scenario is if you're not like, and by the way, I absolutely
Sharik doesn't know why you're sugarcoating it as well.
Sharik, and by the way, I love the opinions. I am absolutely still all in on we can finish top four, all in on that dream. I thought we could win the league 2 months ago. That's obviously dropped off a little bit. I was like, why not? Someone's got to win it. And we're still in Europe, but we know there are some good teams around us, right? And we know that finishing 7th or 8th this season with the start we had will be hugely disappointing. But it's not either you think, oh, we were 5 years ago Championship, haven't we done well? Plucky Tim Henman, type situation, or it's absolutely horrendous and blah blah blah. Like it's I don't know. I think it's possible to be fairly realistic and calm about the fact that we've lost to, my God, we've lost to Newcastle, Chelsea, and Man United. I mean, my God, not like we've lost to Luton, Sheffield United, and Forest back to back. And I also remember going back to November time when we lost to Forest 2-0 and we were absolutely terrible on that day. And everyone was like, oh my God, look at the games coming up. We got Man City and Arsenal and blah. And we won pretty much all of them. In fact, I remember we got a last-minute draw against Bournemouth, and it was like terrible today. Semenyo tore us a new one. It's like, hang on a minute, what about all the games we win? And I know we've had a bit of a bad spell, but it's like we forget all the good stuff that's happened and go, we've had a bad couple of months. Fine, if we're having this conversation at the end of March.
Yeah, I said this on Twitter though. I said, look, I love the positivity, and a lot of me does agree with you, Kev. But I said this on Twitter, right? I said, when are we allowed? At what point are we allowed to say like this is disappointing and criticize the team? Because it ain't good enough at the minute. The performance was good today, but in general, across the 10 games that we've had, it ain't good enough. It just isn't. And if you want to finish in the top 4, this isn't good enough. Now, yes, fair enough. We could go and win the next 4 or 5 games in a row, and then we're back on track. But I'm not sure what suggests that we're going to do that. I'm not sure in this vein of form suggests we're going to do that.
Howe's back. Dini's back. Ramsey's getting back to some form. But when Dean might be back in training in the next few weeks by all rumors, whether he makes it an impact or not. We've got a situation where. We've had. I think at some point you're going to have a little bit of a bad spell. So I'm hoping.
I agree with you, boys. But, sorry, I've just jumped straight in there.
No,
all I was going to say is, all them teams we've lost to, Kev, like on paper, like you say, they don't look like the worst results. But as I was ranting in the group chat earlier, like Newcastle couldn't win away for Toffee, could they? The horrendous away record. Come to Villa Park, cruise it. Chelsea in the week again, another team. Horrendous on the road for like best part of a year. Absolutely wiped the floor with us. Man United then today, I see the stat come up before the game, haven't won away at a top 6 team in about, I can't remember how many games it was. It was ridiculous. Come to Villa Park and win. This is what Villa have been for, God, years and years. And we thought we were sort of over it, but there's obviously still little remnants of that DNA still there. And it's like, it's got to go, isn't it? Because we're just always that team. I went on, do you remember 606 on the radio, right?
Yeah.
I went on there about, God, who was in charge? Tim Sherwood was in charge. And we just lost 2-0 at Stamford Bridge, and I'd come home with I'd been to the game. And Chelsea at that time was struggling, like whoever the manager was, they were having one of their little wobbles. Hadn't won, struggling. All the press was against them. Chelsea, crap. The manager was about to get the sack. Beat Villa 2-0. And I sort of went on the radio and I just had a rant about that. I said, we're always that team. When a team needs a win, we're that team that turns up and plays them and gives them that win. And it still hasn't quite gone away. And I wish for a day when it would.
Yeah.
I really think though that we as a fan base, I don't want to delude myself, right? But I think we've seen enough of this team now. When we were questioning this team on podcasts under Steven Gerrard, and we were questioning some of these players, like the way they've turned it round across the last nearly 18 months now has been. I don't think Klopp or Guardiola could have done the job that Emery's done to get that team from where it was to where it became basically now.
Yeah.
And I think we've got a collective responsibility to not get sucked into this typical Villa. Because even I do it, even when we're playing Sheffield United at 4-0 up, I was thinking I could get back into this because I'm a Villa fan. But I think we've got a collective responsibility to be like, you know what? Like if we start to believe that, and then that filters through the social media channels, and then it gets out on the pitch, and then we get a bit kind of like, a bit anxious. This team have won a lot of games where people could say, wow, typical Villa wouldn't have won that game. When did we put I remember West Ham at home was always a bogey team. I remember being on holiday with my kids. We lost 1-0 when, I don't know, it felt like a looped Lanzini shot went in. There was a 4-2 at home.
4-0.
Yeah, 4-0. 4-2 at home or something when the Camber got sent off, or 4-1 or something. We'd never win a game like that. All of a sudden, we absolutely spanked them this season. When I well did play that game against Man City, remember when we lost 2-1 and they scored that incredible team goal and Watkins got one back as a consolation, right? We beat them 1-0, the best performance I've ever seen about 6 weeks ago. So I think there's been we couldn't beat Man United for years. And was it 2-3 seasons back? We won 1-0 Old Trafford. We came back from 2-0 down at home in Coutinho's first game. We beat him 3-1 last season convincingly. We have to remember we've got lots of examples of good results and results where we were being unfancied and we've not done it before and we've done it. We beat Chelsea 3 times in a row, didn't we, at their place?
Yeah.
That was a game we'd always lose against Chelsea. 8-0 defeats and all this. The one you alluded to, George, we have like 3 wins in a row away at Chelsea. And we won twice in a row away at Spurs. These are games in the past you wouldn't have done. So I know right now, I'm not being like deluded.
You are a little bit.
We've missed a few chances.
You are a little bit.
No, he's got a bit of balance, to be fair. You're all right, Kev.
I wish Ramsey could finish because he might have got 5 today. But come on,
I get it. Yes, we've had some great wins. I looked at the table there. We've won 14 games this season. Drawn 4, lost 6, and Tottenham's 14, 5-5. So it's not doom and gloom. It absolutely isn't. I'm just saying, like, as I say, we will get out of this slump. But the problem is for me is that we will beat. Let's say next week we've got Fulham, tough away game, right?
It's a graveyard for us, Craven Cottage. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know whether we. I'll take a point now, mate. I'll take a point now. Then you say you beat Forest at home, but then we've got then you got Luton away, another tough one, and then you've got Tottenham at home. I'm just saying that the way we are in that, and yes, we beat them last season. I think we came up on teams, and on the blind side. I just don't know if this team is like. And I hope they're not. I really hope they're not. I just don't know if they're just choking a little bit against these big sides. And if you think you've got Tottenham home, Man City away, Arsenal away, Liverpool at home, I don't know. We win any of those. That's just my worry. That's my worry. And those are the games that matter to get you into the Champions League. And it's not the other ones. It's those games that matter, the 6-pointers that matter. And that's my problem. That's my problem. Yes, we beat Arsenal at home. Yes, we beat Man City at home. I totally agree with you. But it's just at this moment in time, this current Villa team in the way that they are at the moment, just don't fill me with confidence that they're gonna beat those key games, those big games. Hope they prove me wrong. Absolutely do.
And that's
But
it. We were all getting the hump, weren't we, a little while ago about the media sort of ignoring us, sort of pointing out the top 5 without us in it and all that. And if we were second, they would do 1, 2, and 4th and all that. But, we said we were going under the radar for a long while. We were. But after going under the radar, they knew what we were doing. They just didn't have the faith that we were going to stay there. And now it's looking like this is why they didn't have the faith, because we are doing exactly what everyone expected. No one expected us to stay there. Maybe we haven't got no right to stay there. But it's just disappointing when you get yourself into such a positive position and you can see almost the finish line. We know what's at stake here. We know the Champions Leagues, the golden egg and all that. And just slowly seeing it fade, that's why we're all reacting like we are, because if it like the comment said, we might not get this chance again. So you've got to strike while it's there or do yourself justice and not just fall apart.
We're still in it.
We are still in it.
They've got to go to Leeds on a Tuesday night. Yeah, and I'd love it. I would love it if we qualified.
Kev, 2 seconds. Yeah. You're getting loads of positive comments. So I just want to go through them, mate. So loving the positivity, Kev from Gaza. Next season will be even better. Look forward, be positive. Charlie says, good on you, Kev, being the positivity here. Steve, 24/7, I'm with you, Kev. One of those goes in and we're fine. We played well. Gaza said he agrees with you. This is our shit run that everyone goes through. 3 wins incoming. Mark as well, voice of reason. I know we haven't been great, but we've still only lost 4 in 19 games. Yeah. Yes, 3 are in the last 4, but as you've said, they're against difficult side. Performance today was good. We need to use that now. What else have we got? Mark also was furious today, as I thought we should have won with the chances we created. We need to learn to be more clinical. Hopefully that will come. We can learn to finish these games off. Let me just do a quick shout out to everyone hitting the like button. Over 60 people watching, which is great. So we want to get that hopefully up to 100 tonight. That'd be brilliant. So smash the like button. If you're new to the channel as well, hit the subscribe button. If you do want to become a member or donate to the channel, click the $ at the bottom and follow the instructions. Either donate or become a member for just $1.99 a month. I want to go into some performances. You mentioned, Kev, about Jacob Ramsey. Got into the starting lineup. I did think he would start instead of Yuri Tielemans, and he was more back to the kind of old Jacob Ramsey, getting into those positions just in between the defense and the midfield, driving forward. I guess just lacking that finish or that ruthlessness, but much more encouraging from him today.
Yeah, I thought he was in some fantastic positions today, time and time again. I'd like to see back some of the chances. I think you briefly mentioned it before we jumped on the pod, that there was some last-ditch defending by United defenders, and I thought they defended really well today. But, I mean, the way we kept opening them up, like it was literally like a knife through butter. There was times when there was just the ball was on through the middle of the defence and a slightly better touch, or maybe sometimes it slightly just falls for you a bit more easily. And I think Ramsey could have had a hat-trick today. I mean, easily. I mean, it was chance after chance after chance. It's not like he hasn't got history of scoring against them, because he scored a couple of times against hasn't he, in that draw, and obviously that win we alluded to. We've been worried about Ramsey because the back end of last season, we were clamouring for an England call-up for him. Obviously, he's had his injury. He had the recurrence of the injury. I think he could be a really big player for us in this Champions League qualification running. I think his goals from midfield, his driving runs, being that star boy, the new Grealish, so to speak. I think he's going to be key. He's going to be key, and it was also quite reassuring to know that the player was keeping out the team today was someone Tielemans, who'd been really good since he started to establish himself in the side. So, yeah, I just think it's good signs. Obviously, I wish I was sat here saying we've won 3 or 4-2, and Ramsey's got a couple, but I think again, from where he's been in the team lately, really encouraging.
Yeah. George, were you quite pleased with Jacob Ramsey today? A little bit more back to his old self for you?
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, welcome return to form. Literally, I think it was last week we were we were kind of like wondering where he goes and what's happening with Ramsey. I remember last year actually doing exactly the same, and then the next game he had a stormer. So maybe we should just keep laying into him, and the next week he turns up. But yeah, we've been missing that bright spark on the left, haven't we? And getting that relationship with Moreno like they had last season. And yeah, you know, we've waited a long time this season, so to get a fully fit and firing Ramsey will, you know, that will get us hopefully closer to that top four, like you say, Kev.
Yeah, it was that one time, you know, in the second half when Bailey went through, and brilliant running with the ball from Bailey, great movement from Watkins, lovely movement from Ramsey, and he just played that pass, that reverse pass. I think it was like through Maguire's legs or someone's legs, and he just couldn't quite get the decent enough purchase on it for his
It was
first
there and
touch.
it wasn't it? You're like,
Yeah,
is he
yeah,
going to get
yeah,
that? No.
yeah. But yeah, like I think against it's always difficult. Like I do think sometimes when a player comes on with like 10 minutes to go in a game, it's almost impossible to get used to the pace of the game unless you kind of get on the end of something, or you get into a position where you're like you can beat someone the first time. It's very difficult to get into the pace of a game. So when he came on against Newcastle, I just thought he didn't really know what to do. Like there was areas where he was picking up the ball, and did he run onto it, or did he pass it back to Moreno, or because Villa didn't really quite know what they wanted to do in that game. You know, was it something that we could get back into, or was it something that we were looking to, I guess, just damage limitation. So that was a difficult one. Whereas Chelsea, when he came on in the cup, it's like, well, I think he came on with a bit more freedom and just thought, right, well, f this, I'll just do what I'm good at, and it seemed to work. And then today it was back to, like I say, back to that kind of running with the ball. He's one of those players that's faster running with the ball than he. You know, he looks faster running with the ball than he does without, which is really helpful. So, yeah, that was encouraging to see, and I think a goal from him will really turn him around. And you're right, Kev. I think those games against like a Fulham or a Nottingham Forest, having someone like a Ramsey in there will really help to drive us forward. So that was really encouraging. Um, any other performances for you that were pleasing for you? I thought we looked to get the ball forward a lot quicker. Like there was more incisive passes from defence into midfield. We seemed to pick up like McGinn, particularly in that first half, quite well in those areas as well. Being at the game, did you see that those incisive passes were a little bit more little bit more readily available than they were before.
Yeah, 100% really. I mean, I always think this back in the day of watching Gerrard and even towards the end of Dean Smith, and we had tried and tested ways of getting goals and actually penetrating through the middle, cutting through a defence, something we never ever did. So obviously we've done it really well under Unai so many times, and it felt like we just lacked a bit of bravery in the last couple of months. That's one thing I would say about the uber positive sheen I've put on this is I have questioned on this pod a few times that we need to be a bit braver on the ball, take a few more chances, and I felt we were today. And that's why when some of them don't come off, there's a collective sigh, but sometimes you got to try those passes. I would say for example, actually, I know I haven't seen the second goal. I believe the defending wasn't great for that. But I thought largely Carlos and Longley were pretty good, pretty solid. I thought they used the ball pretty well from what I could see. There was a couple of stray passes. Carlos did 2 back-to-back. But other than that, and Longley did 1 bad one. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good. But the thing which was really great to see was this really decent team, Man United, and they've been a lot better lately, time and time again. I think we had like 25 shots.
Yeah.
And that is around the box. And there's times when I'm thinking, I don't even know if it's on, and all of a sudden there's a ball cut back or passed through the eye of a needle, and then we've created a chance out of it. I mean, Watkins nearly anywhere else, and he's equalised just after half time.
I mean, and let's talk Onana, because he's such a unconventional goalkeeper. Like there's sometimes where he's coming out and like he's kicking it and it's going out of play. He's kicking it and it's slicing it. Then there's times where he's holding onto the ball and he's passing it behind someone and putting them under pressure. But then he pulls off that save, George, from John McGinn in the first half. I don't think McGinn struck a ball as well as that. And then the save he makes from Ollie Watkins, I know it just kind of hits him, but I mean, yeah, he's such a strange goalkeeper. But
Yeah.
what saves? I mean, brilliant saves.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, another keeper that's been on sort of under the pump most of the season and comes to Villa Park and has a worldie, like, you know, it's just what happens to us, isn't it? But yeah, that McGinn strike, Jesus Christ, I didn't think that would just beat Onana. I thought that was going straight through the net. He's absolutely, he's a thunder bastard, wasn't it? And you know, it's a great save from Onana, and you know, we had plenty of chances there again today, but everything just seemed to hit him, didn't it? It's not
everything was central. All of our chances,
yeah.
they all seem to be within that middle section of the goal, and you know where a keeper can kind of get to it. You know, anything in the corners, or even slightly in the corner, or even a classic cliche, but a miss-hit one into the corner, a scuff one into the corner, and I think we're getting goal after goal.
Yeah, there was Watkins's one, and then there was another one from Louise, wasn't there? Louise, like, it was only about 5 yards out, and you're thinking, just poke it in the corner, and he just didn't quite come off his foot properly, and it just kind of rolled up to Onana, and you're thinking, it's just another chance. Once they started going, 2 or 3 started missing, you're like, this is going to come back and bite us today, and obviously that's exactly what did happen.
Watkins had a header, caught really well, straight down the middle. You know, Ramsey put a few past the post. If you just, you know, slightly better finishing. And I think, well, that puts that positivity shield even better. If you look at it, you go, because I did try and touch on this on the Man United preview, Rich, remember, which hadn't been said much, but how we came back into both the Chelsea and Newcastle games, nearly scored a second goal in both those games, one chalked off for offside, I think, and whatever. And then all of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, there's a comeback on against those teams. And Ramsey being a better finisher and Louis being a better finisher away from going, hang on a minute. You know, we've actually had some good results.
Oh, yeah. No, look, like I said to you before, 23 shots. Yes, they were central, and you think maybe a couple of them that we hit them too well, and you know they go into the corner and stuff, and yes, ruthlessness, being more clinical is there, but you take that into like next week, you take that into the week after, you're gonna win games like that. That's just a fact. The question is can we continue with those performances? Yes, the players, I think, will be more encouraged with that performance than they have been of late, because you have to be. Like, it was a return to form for a number of players. I know Max was quite critical of Matty Cash, but I thought he did okay. I thought he looked okay. I thought Moreno looked a bit more back to his old self, particularly with Ramsey down that left hand side. I thought Watkins at times was moving quite well, and I thought, you know, with regards to playing against Varane and Maguire at the back, they played very well. But I thought he gave them a decent game. Yes, he didn't score, but I thought he did all right. So I don't think there was any really bad performances out there today. It was literally just and all the pundits, like Eric Ten Hag has said himself, like they probably didn't deserve to win the game. It's just one of the, it's just that's the frustrating thing about it, is we played so well, and you think, you know, had we played like that against a Newcastle or against an Everton or against, you know, even just 10% better, we probably get the results against them, and then that kind of puts this one into a bit more perspective. But yeah, there's so many good performances out there today, that I am very encouraged. Now, onto something a little bit more, I guess, for me, probably the key moment of the game. I don't know whether, like, just in my opinion, we get back into the game. You're thinking that all the chances we've had, then it ends up being like a miss-hit shot. Comes Luis reacts to it really well. 67 minutes, we get back to 1-1. All the momentum's with us. Diaby and Bailey are on the pitch at the same time, causing Lindelof horrific problems. And then he takes Leon Bailey off. Please, and loads of comments on that. Kev, that decision is, I mean, inexcusable in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to look at this, and there's got to be a reason for it. There's got to be a reason for it, because, you know, he was. I was screaming at from the side of the pitch where I was sat, saying, "Pretend you're at Leverkusen, lads! Pretend you're at Leverkusen," because those two, when they start getting the combinations together, they were causing all sorts of problems. I thought when Shaw went off and Lindelof came on, I thought, well, that's going to be make it a lot easier for us to try and get in. I can only think there was maybe a sense of like slight fatigue, or he wasn't at it. I don't know whether there's something more into it, but if he was fit and ready to carry on, then that is a grave error from Unai Emery. But I have to believe that maybe, you know, nearly 70 minutes into the game with like injury time first half, maybe he was maybe his goose was cooked a little bit and he wanted to try and freshen it up, possibly. But the drop off from Bailey to Diaby at the moment is, it's like,
well,
it's
it's
night and day, isn't
Diaby
it?
out in that position from where he was before, getting into those areas, causing so many problems. It was just honestly I know Rachel has commented on my video that I did a reaction, and yeah, and it was tactical. Emery wanted to tighten it up in the midfield. She doesn't think it's the reason we lost. For me, we lost all momentum. And even if it had been for another 5 minutes, 10 minutes to like get the goal, because we were just overloaded in that area. We would have had more chances. We had all of the momentum, and I guarantee you, he will look at himself and say, "I made a mistake there." The only thing I can say about it, and we said this before the show, I don't think I don't think he thought that they would take Rashford off, because one thing that United do with Garnacho and Rashford is those two players don't tend to come back into defence. They don't tend to help out the defenders, and I don't think he thought that would happen. So he thought, if I put Diaby on that right hand side, I overload in midfield, we'll get more possession. But he took Rashford off, and he put McTominay into that midfield, and that kind of just negated any extra possession that Tielemans would have been able to get, because he had to stay back because McTominay was in that position in front of the back four. Then you factor in obviously Kamara had a bit of an injury as well. But yeah, it was just I just felt like we lost all momentum after that moment, and it was just so disappointing. George, I don't know if you think that as well.
Yeah, completely, mate. I was absolutely bemused when he come off, to be honest, because we were all over him. We were putting pressure on. We were the side that were going to go and win that game, in my opinion. The crowd were up. You could see Ten Hag was getting nervous. United looked like they were sort of settling in for a point. I thought that was where we go and win that game, and then all of a sudden, you see his number come up. I was thinking the same as you. Surely there must be an injury or something. But you take Bailey off. Even the commentators said it. Sky Sports News said it. Merson couldn't believe it. He said Bailey's been the main man. That's where the goal's probably going to come. And I just can't see what he was doing. I mean, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Why try and get control somewhere else when you're already winning the battle? In the area where Bailey is. And to me, it was stupid because, as I said in the group chat earlier, we were vulnerable all game anyway because United are quick on the counter. They were gonna have chances whatever we did.
Yeah.
But at that time, I just think go for the win, mate, because we win that game, we're out of sight, and they're not catching us up. And I just think it was a stupid move. I would never criticize Emery, massively, but on this occasion, I think he's definitely got that wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't see Leon Bailey pull up with anything. I didn't see him have any sort of looking fatigued. He just had like a couple of good runs. He just had a couple of really good movements with Diaby, and then he puts Diaby into that position. And we know Diaby's better at getting the ball on the half turn and jinking into areas in and around the box or on the left wing. He's not great on that right wing because he goes past the player and he doesn't necessarily go around the outside. He cuts back and then he plays it back to Cash, and it just seemed to kill the momentum. And as soon as that moment happened, both teams looked like they were settling for a draw. Kev looked like it. I mean, I'm sure they were taking a win. Louise had an effort for us that he kind of scuffed when he probably should have done better. But then you kind of know that Man United are a team at the moment of moments. That's what they are. Fernandez will come up with a big moment. Hoyland will come up with a big moment. Rashford, Garnacho. This time it was McTominay. We don't put any pressure on the ball in that left back area for us. I don't know if it was Moreno or if it was, I think Louise was in that area as well. We don't close down the cross. It's a good ball in, and then it's a mismatch at the end of the day between Cash and McTominay, and the inevitable happens, and that's it. The big moment. But I just felt like the game went into that lull of like both teams kind of just almost waiting for each other to do something, and you can't do that against a Man United team as kind of, I guess, average in quotes that they are, because they've still got players that come up with big moments, and that's what happened.
I said it as he was coming on. I said he's got an eye for goal. What time he has?
Yes.
He pops up with a goal, and he's the one who gets the winner. I mean, it's a great delivery. I don't know. I have not seen back at all the ins and outs of what happened in that corner. It's quite far away from where I'm sat. But the delivery was whipped in, great ball, and I felt like the header was quite central actually. So we're bemoaning Villa having centrally placed strikes at goal, but there was such power behind it that, it was obviously a really good goal, and it obviously it can happen at any point. But it did look like we were going to be the ones when we scored the goal to get back into it that we're going to carry on. The momentum lost when Bailey went off, whatever the reasons were. It went further off when McGinn went off. We're still with probably 10 minutes to go at that point there, and the players that came on didn't really make much of a difference, did they? I mean, Zaniolo looks like he's getting slower at each game in terms of not just speed but decision making, and Diaby, and then I did feel like, my God, how are we going to get back into this? I felt like we needed a moment then of maybe a free kick, lump it in the box, see what happens. But there was definitely that spell when I felt like there was only one team that were going to win it.
Yeah. Well, there was a period where I thought we're not going to score here. Watkins had that effort. We had a couple of others where we couldn't get the shot away. It got blocked, and then obviously the goal comes. I'm not crediting Bailey with the assist either. If I wasn't crediting Ollie Watkins with an assist for passing to Bailey last week, then that doesn't count as an assist for Bailey in my book, because that was just a shot. But yeah, anyway, we got the goal, and then you're thinking, right, go for it. And like you said, there's only one winner, and it just seemed to kill all momentum, that change, because George, you said it again, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We were really pushing in those areas. We were doubling up on them in that right hand channel. I just don't understand why he did that. And
Felt
then
like it was coming, didn't it?
yeah, he didn't really need to make the substitution. And if he was going to make the substitution, I'd have probably done Ramsey. I'd have probably took Ramsey off for Tielemans. But it is what it is. We didn't get back into it. I agree what you're saying about Zaniolo. He looks like you can tell when players are on their game, because they control the ball. Like, he controlled the ball like with his back to goal, and then had to turn with the ball rather than controlling the ball on the half turn and being able to run forward. And you can tell when players aren't quite at the races. But look, he didn't have enough time to do anything really anyway. So I think that's the situation there. But yeah, that was disappointing. A few comments coming in. David said missing easy chances has cost us yet again. David Bowden said a 50% fit Bailey could have destroyed Lindelof. Bailey should have stayed on the pitch. Big mistake. Ugent says, as long as we had the momentum, we should have kept the team as is, barring injury. 10 minutes more. We didn't lose because of the change, but we lost the chance to win. AVFC US says it was a trying not to lose move. David said we could have had more chances or play. Who says we should have scored then? Watkins can't keep missing easy chances. Works well, but bread and butter. Rub said we conceded yet another poor goal. I'm more upset by that than Bailey coming out. Bailey also can't play all the games all the time. JJ was brilliant. Him and Moreno played well together, says David, folks. Welsh Woody says Cash and Watkins, again, let us down. Rachel said we didn't defend well for that goal whatsoever. Ugent said Rogers should have come on instead of Zaniolo. Gazza's not as complimentary about Zaniolo either. He's a donkey pulling a cart. That's the reason no one passes to him. But yeah, what was I was gonna say something there. Oh yeah, do you think Watkins maybe? I thought he was okay today. I thought he gave Varane and Maguire a difficult game. I guess when you miss a couple of big chances, obviously one in the first half, I thought he maybe could have got onto the ball a little bit quicker. He let it come across him a bit and let the defender get back and Arna get out to him. But I thought he was okay. I don't think he was anything particularly bad. Kev, George, your thoughts on Ollie Watkins? I think the problem is the sorry 2 seconds. I think the problem is just the lack of options. Like, obviously Duran's injured, but we haven't got anyone else to bring on up front to kind of have a different option or change it up. And I think that's sometimes where we suffer with Watkins, because if he doesn't score, we haven't got anyone else to bring on to try and freshen it up.
I'll just say, just get the shot off a bit quicker. I was just watching Match of the Day there from last night, just before we came on, and I saw Haaland's second goal yesterday for City. He just has a swipe. He took one good touch and has a swipe, whereas we get that sort of chance, and it's touch, think, touch, and the chance just goes, doesn't it? You've just got in that second when you've got a chance to release it, just have a go, man. Just put the ball, just have a shot.
Yeah, Kev.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point, actually. If you think about the goal he scored against Sheffield United, that absolutely worldy of a pass. It was touch with balls going away from him. Great first touch, and then bang, defender looked like he was going to tackle him, and he put it in the corner. So we know he can do it. I think his link-up play and his general run play was actually all right today, Watkins. I thought he played a decent frontman role, but it would have been great if he'd scored. And that chance right after half time, I just think he's got to score that. I know it's easier said than done, isn't it? Because he got a good connection. You'd think it's like to go in, but anywhere else.
Just too close to the keeper, wasn't it? Too central.
Yeah. Quick bit on Boubacar. He came off with a knee injury. That's got to be a bit concerning, hasn't it? Because you said it yourself, Kev, before, and I think Sam's mentioned it. I mean, who have we got as options in that kind of defensive midfield position? You've got Eric Bonham. You might drop McGinn back in there, but we know McGinn is best.
That's it. They're your only options. I don't think Chambers is getting brought back from the dead, is he? So, that's it. They're your options. And I think way Unai is with some of the younger players. I think it's going to be McGinn back there, and maybe playing a Tielemans where McGinn is, or a Ramsey where McGinn is.
I'd give Eric Bonham a go myself, just for the pure profile and physicality of him. He looks like he should be a holding mid, whereas when the others play there, it looks like they're just patching it up, and it very rarely seems to work for us.
George, I agree with you, mate. I agree. I think he seems like if he's brought him back into the squad, you've let Dendoncker go for a reason.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be the backup. That's the plan.
Yeah,
so if Kamara's injured, then he's got.
I don't think he can do anything any worse than say Dendoncker did. You know, and we're obviously going to give him time because he's a local lad, he's a young player. You know, we've got Fulham, Forest, not Luton, not the strongest teams in the league in terms of their positioning. So why not? Why not give him a shot? Obviously, we'll find out tomorrow if Kamara is injured, but he didn't look good with a knee, twisted knee. It didn't look good. So you're probably going to talk 1-2 weeks out. So I'd give him a shot.
Fingers crossed on that. I tell you what, the other thing as well about these young players is there's plenty of young players over time that have played that just clearly haven't been good enough, right? You know, over the years, you can think of many options, but we're a different profile of club now. We've got a much better squad. And you look at players like, obviously, Miley at Newcastle. Look at Bradley at Liverpool. Look at the job that Elliott's done and Jones in recent years in terms of
Mainu at Man United.
Man United. There'll be more and more example of this, right? Surely we've got a couple of these top youngsters that, you know, whether it be Castle Hayden coming in, whether it's Tim, whoever it might be. I think that's the right move, but I just don't think it'll happen.
Yeah. Few people talking about obviously their first goal, not necessarily being a foul, and then Casemiro being offside before the original corner. But just a general word, this ref is Rob. Is it Rob Lee? He's called. Is that Rob Jones? Rob Jones. He I don't know. You might not notice Kev at the game, but he seems to let ridiculous things go in terms of like physicality and, like, you know, fouls pushed off the ball, but then he'll just blow up for something ridiculous and then just book people for no reason. I just don't get this ref. Like, he's like, you think, oh yeah, fair enough, he's letting something go, and then he just blows up for just ridiculous stuff or misses stuff that is just like just crazy. But I don't know. Did you think the ref wasn't great today, Kev, or what were your thoughts being at the game? Was he frustrating you in terms of the ref?
I joined in with the chorus of "You're not fit to referee. You're not fit to referee."
What was that? I can't remember what that one was about. There was something in the
that was Fernandez, wasn't it? When he should have took a yellow.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got Robert Jones, isn't it?
Yeah,
reffing, and you've got David Coote on VAR. I mean, to me, to you, the Chuckle Brothers comes to mind, because the thing with the refereeing right now, I'm just baffled. I know I've got my clown blue tinted specs on, but there's some decisions I'm like, that was definitely a foul. I've seen it with my own eyes.
I know. That's what I mean. I don't get him.
Not even remotely like, is that a foul? Like, the penalty decisions, it was the box down at the North Stand. I couldn't quite see. Was it a pen? Was it not? But some of them in front of my eyes, like, I'm thinking that is definitely a foul. Why is that carried on? And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, and then all of a sudden, phase of play that might lead to a goal. So, it just feels like the standard of refereeing is so poor. I mean, surely there are some ex-pros that, maybe not Premier League players because they'd be too rich to do it right. Must be some ex-pros, League Two, conference, League One, that could do it a decent good job, who aren't working in the media, that maybe understand the game a bit more, that they could pay an extra 15, 20 grand a year to, whatever, to just get some better quality, because the standard of the refereeing has been absolutely dog shit this season.
He got in the way a few times today as well, didn't he?
He
Like,
did.
I thought he was playing for United.
It's just poor. You need
well
better. You need better.
Yeah, he's such a big guy. I think sometimes he thinks, because he's been in the gym and that, I think he thinks, oh, well, that wouldn't do anything to me, so I'll just let it go. Yeah. And then there was one where McGinn was through and he blew for a foul, and McGinn was like, what are you doing? I was in.
Yeah.
Just he
was going to get sent off.
Honestly, so he's just crazy. Like, some people, Sharik said he even yellow carded Casemiro, and Casemiro didn't touch Cash, so it wasn't just against us. But he booked Diaby for like one tackle, booked Cash after one tackle. Just strange stuff. But he's almost like caught between letting the game flow and then like, oh, I'll just blow up for that and give a yellow card just to make sure that I'm not letting everything flow. So yeah, anyway, I think we'll call it a night there, boys. Kev, just finish off with a bit of positivity. I like I say, I'm caught between that. I think it was a really good performance, and I'm really encouraged if we can continue those performances. I'm just a little bit concerned that against these teams that are in and around us, with regards to Newcastle, with regards to Man United, and then with the upcoming games with people around us, teams around us, I'm just a little bit concerned about that. However, I will say we continue those performances like we did today, I think we'll be good. But Kev, positivity, come on, let's go.
We've fucked it, haven't we? It's all the wheels have come off, Richard. No point. I'm gonna put that hotel room in Athens back on sale. I've got it on reserve. Don't need it. I'm only joking. Look, I know it's whole like, but we weren't founded 150 years ago. We were in the Championship 5 years ago. That whole kind of theme of talking annoys people. We are mid-February. Valentine's Day is looming. I saw a hilarious thing for Valentine's Day, by the way, the other day. What, got any plans for Valentine's Day? Yeah, got big plans. What, dinner and a movie? No. I think I'm doing back and biceps on Valentine's Day. Way. No plans for me. Any takers, give me a shout, right? But we are literally mid-February. We're in a hunt, seriously, for a top 4 spot in the league. We're in the last stages of European competition, and we've got some winnable fixtures coming up. Now, we saw that thing with the Man United fixtures, didn't we? I think people talked about it earlier. What a run of games they've got, and I did my whole classic. Not an easy game in the Premier League, but Luton have just had a really bad defeat to the worst team in the league. We've got Forest. They've not been in great form lately, really at all. Fulham's our next game. Fulham have been a bit up and down. We said it earlier on, but wouldn't it be like an Unai Emery performance to go to a ground where you've not won? I think that was that COVID season when we won 3-0.
One time we didn't go. I go there every single year.
Yeah.
The 1 year we win, we can't go.
Yeah.
And you're going on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
George, don't go, mate. Let me have your ticket. Any spares, Rich, let me know. But honestly, I look at these pictures and think this is what will set us aside. And if we can get to that Spurs game, still be there or thereabouts Spurs, what a challenge that is at home. Again, to go again under the Villa Park, lights and under the crowd in Villa Park. And why can't we be in a position when we play that Spurs game when we are still in the top 4? I think we've got every chance for it.
Come on, we can do it. We can do it. Look, as I say, good performance, frustrating. It's United. but I think there are some things that we can look to with positivity. Ramsey coming back playing well, and I think 20 odd shots is something that you take into the next game and think something's got to change, and things will change, I'm sure. So I think
Pow's back. Pow's back.
Power's back as well. Yeah,
Well,
Power's
he might
back.
have had some minutes today, lads.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, I still think there's some positive. There's plenty of positivity on the horizon. I'm much more encouraged after that performance than I certainly was after Newcastle. Like I said, I was a bit negative last week after the great win against Sheffield United, but I just thought I just wanted to see us a bit more sort of back to the old Villa. I was gutted after the Chelsea game in the manner of the defeat, but today I'm more encouraged about the level of performance. I just want to see us continue that, and I want to see us string like 2-3 wins together, because that's when we'll see that we're back to our best. Anyway, boys, thank you very much for coming on tonight. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Thank you for all of your support. We're back with Talking Tactics in the week, fans forum, where we'll cover any and every issue with the Villa over the last week or so, and then match previews to come with Fulham. We might even do a few lunchtime lives as well, just rounding up the news. So loads to come on the channel. Have a great Sunday evening, all of you who are watching. And as always, remember, we all follow the Villa. Thanks, everyone.